What's up, y'all? I'm out here on the range as usual on another hot one. The weatherman completely got this wrong. It was supposed to be totally overcast, so there wasn't going to be no sun baking me out here. The humidity was going to be rough though, and he was right about that. It feels like an absolute swamp out here, and as you can see, the doggone sun is beating down. But luckily, I didn't take his word for it, and I still set my shade up, so I've got a little bit of relief. Should be able to get through a couple more tests, and this one right here is hopefully going to be another good 9 mil. All right, y'all, apparently I pulled another one of them forget to turn your mic on move, so I had to go back and add this after I found out during editing. So of course I've got the jelly contraption set up out here with a couple of chronos and the 2 blocks of gel, my standard heavy clothing barrier of course with the layer of denim fleece and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. What we're testing for this one here is some 9 mil Black Hills ammo. This is some more of that was sent to me by Alan, so once again I appreciate that. I don't think I've tested any Black Hills other than some of that Honey Badger, which is the external fluted type stuff like the Extreme Defender, so this should be pretty interesting. Now the ballistics that I found for this was showing 1150 feet per second from a 4-inch barrel, so we should come close with one of these and exceed it with one of them. Not sure what kind of projectile this is. It's just a standard brass case here. It's really XTP-ish looking. I'm not sure if it's an XTP or not, so I don't want to say that for sure, but it's really basic looking. As usual for the shorty, I've got the Canik Mete MC9 with the 3.1 inch barrel, and then I've got the G17 for the 4.5 inch barrel. But the rest of the audio is good to go, so let me send you back on over and show you what they did. All right, let's see what we can get out of this stuff, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average as usual, starting with this MC9 first. Now, like I always mention, if you're not familiar with this lab radar, you're gonna see multiple velocity readings, your large numbers at the muzzle, and then the 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got them set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. So now remember, this is saying 1150 out of a 4-inch barrel. So this 3.1, we should be a little short of that, but be nice if we wasn't, but I suspect we're gonna be. 1068, 1062, 1063, 1080, and 1081, so seemed like it was pretty consistent. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5-round average there from that 3.1 inch barrel was 1,071 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 19 with a 9.3 standard deviation, so nice and consistent stuff here. 1,071 from a 3.1 when we were looking for what did I say, 1150 I think from the 4-inch. I mean, that's, what is that, 70 or so off, 80, about 80 off. I mean, I guess that's about right, probably with some fast burning powder. Let's get it all reset and see what the G17 does. All right, let's see what this G17 does for it. Now, 1150 we're supposed to see from a 4-inch barrel. This is 4.5, so we should see that. I've got my doubts though, just based on what we got out of that MC9, but hopefully I'll be wrong here. 1135, 1133, 1158, 1131, and 1112, so not the 1150. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5-round average that time from this G17 was 1,134 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 47 with a standard deviation of 16.6. That one opened up a little bit on us. We had a low there of 1112, so we did hit an 1158 high, so we were at the box, but then again, this is a 1/2 inch longer barrel than what they claiming out of. 1134, you know, that's not 1150. I would call that within the margin of error, but again, that's a 1/2 inch longer barrel, so I would expect it a little bit more than that. All that being said, that's probably enough to get this projectile to do what it needs to do. Now, the MC9 might get a little bit sketchy, but hopefully both of them do a nice job. Let's get it all reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, let's head for the hills. Jelly time. I'm gonna put one through each barrel length into the gel, starting with this MC9 first. This one I'm a little bit worried on. Like I say, this one will kind of be the litmus test, I guess. If this one does well, then the G17 is pretty much guaranteed to do well. Let's see what happens here. All right, that should have been a nice one. Let me go see what I got. All right, looks like we actually got us a pretty good one here, y'all. So let's see if this G17 can boost it up a little bit. Put this one a little bit under that one. All right, went a little bit low. I think it curved a little bit. Let me go check it out. All right, let's check out what we got down here. Really similar performance from both of these. They almost look identical. This one on the bottom now, it did kind of get into the bottom. It didn't really get into it, but it probably had a little, well, obviously it did, had a little bit of effect on its trajectory. You can see it kind of curved up, but again, it didn't dig into the bottom. No kind of deformation forced by the bottom down there. So plenty accurate. So starting up at the top here, that's the MC9. You can tell it comes in here, immediate expansion, nice disruption here. Now, not a whole lot, nothing fabulous or anything, but plenty of disruption for a 124.9. Travels all the way through this first block into the second block, probably 3 to 4 inches, and you do have some expansion. Nothing, again, nothing fabulous, nothing to write home about to win any kind of expansion contest, but pretty much what you usually see from a basic 124 HP. And then again, back down here on the bottom with the G17, basically the same thing. It comes in here, immediate disruption. You can tell it starts to expand, travels again all the way through this first block. Now again, when it travels here into the second one, it kind of moves its trajectory. So this distance traveled, I think it's pretty much exactly right on, but you can take a ½ inch, give it a ½ inch if that makes you feel a little better. But anyway, goes into the second block here, keeps on trucking. Now probably spun around right there at that junction there because it is facing backwards, and it looks like pretty much the same expansion as the MC9 and maybe about ½ an inch further as far as the penetration. And speaking of that, the MC9 here on the top, you're looking at exactly 20 inches of penetration, and then the G17 on the bottom, you're actually at right exactly 20.5. So in my opinion, that's fantastic penetration from both of those. And then your close look here, again, really similar. You can see the disruption all the way through the first block from both of them. The one on the top there, that's the MC9, and then you can see what I mean, the one on the bottom. It didn't get into the bottom, but it did change the trajectory a little bit, and you can see it probably caused a tumble because it's sitting there backwards. Almost impossible to see them both from the top because they're lined up so good, but if I give you a little bit of an angle, you can kind of see the other one down there, but this isn't showing you much. Just, you have to take my word for it. As far as the disruption, they're pretty much identical. Follow them all through here. And there's that one from the MC9. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Very little difference in either one of these. You can see here, this one's the MC9, this one's the G17. If I was to set them down and mix them up, I wouldn't be able to tell any difference between them as far as how much they peel back, the little flecks of lead that kind of broke off around the edge there. They look almost exactly the same. And to me, that's a good thing to have ammo that runs the same out of different barrel lengths. And again, I think these are XTPs, but I'm not absolutely sure, so just take that for what it's worth. But let's check them out and see what kind of material we lost. I know we did lose some, probably not a whole lot. They both started at 124. This one from the MC9 is at 123.1, so a little bit lost there. This one from the G17 is 122.0, so a little bit lost off of both of these, but not a whole lot. And then as far as the size, this should be very similar. The MC9 here, you got 443 and 448. So again, nothing fabulous as far as expansion, but adequate in my opinion. And then this one from the G17, you got 444 and 441. So nearly identical expansion from both of these things. And once again, nothing fabulous by any means, but I think that's plenty and about what you're going to see from any standard pressure 124 basic 9mm. And there you have it, y'all, the Black Hills Ammo 124 grain standard pressure 9mm. I think this is another pass right here. I was totally prepared to have to call this a half and half, a half pass, half fail. I really had my doubts about the MC9 doing well, but again, they look nearly identical. A little bit of energy difference, obviously, because of the velocity difference, but as far as penetration and expansion, I mean, you cannot tell any difference between these two. So performance right there on par with what you expect from a 124 grain standard pressure 9mm, but again, it's just nothing breathtaking. I mean, this is nothing, you know, remarkable, nothing to speak of, and nothing that makes me want to run out and rush out and find some of these. Now, if I had them and if somebody's out there got them, obviously these will definitely do the job, but in my opinion, it's nothing worth just going out and purposely seeking these out for. All right, y'all, looks like we got us another pretty good 124 9mm to add to the list. I've actually had pretty good luck with the 124 9mm I've been working my way through lately. Y'all know I got that big batch from Allen. Most of them so far have been pretty decent, at least when they're up to the velocity that they're claiming that they perform at. They've been pretty decent. Now, again, I have to say that unless this was some super deal, I'm not going seeking these out. Y'all know me, then this is another perfect example. I have people a lot of times ask me for what 9mm do I recommend. The 9mm that I run, I've said it a bunch of times, is plus P plus 124 from Underwood, but that's just because it's hot. I don't care about brand. If y'all are looking for a brand recommendation for me, you're going to be very disappointed because I'm not going to give you any brand that I recommend. I don't have any brand loyalty. I think every brand that I've tested, any brand that I've tested, I'm pretty sure that I've gotten some result in some caliber or another that I wasn't perfectly happy with. So brand means absolutely nothing to me. If you're asking me what 9mm round I recommend, it's plus P plus 124 of Underwood, Grizzly, whatever hot 124 plus P plus you can get a hold of. But let me know what y'all think about these out here today. Do any of y'all out there run any of these 9mm from Black Hill? Do you run some of their 5.56 or maybe even some of their Honey Badger stuff? Let me know down in the comments what you run from them and what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, take a second to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so hopefully you get notified when I upload new stuff. Again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for showing the support to the channel that y'all do. I've got one more really interesting test planned for out here today, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.